Sure, Prabhu, let us start. Six point 17.18. So this chapter is entitled as Mother Parvati curses Chitraketu Maharaj. Okay, 6:17:18. संसार चक्र एतस्मिन् जन्तुरज्ञानमोहितः भ्रामयन् सुखं च दुःखं च भुङ्क्ते सर्वत्र सर्वदा संसार चक्र एतस्मिन् जन्तुरज्ञानमोहितः भ्रामयन् सुखं च दुःखं च भुङ्क्ते सर्वत्र सर्वदा संसार चक्र एतस्मिन् जन्तुरज्ञानमोहितः भ्रामयन् सुखं च दुःखं च भुङ्क्ते सर्वत्र सर्वदा. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Deluded by ignorance, the living entity wanders in the forest of this material world, enjoying the happiness and distress resulting from his past deeds everywhere and at all times. Therefore, my dear mother, neither you nor I am to be blamed for this incident. As confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 3.27, Prakate kriyamanani gune karmani sarvashah ahankara vimudhatma kartaham iti manyate. The bewildered soul under the influence of the three modes of material nature thinks himself the doer of activities that are in actuality carried out by nature. Actually, a conditioned soul is completely under the control of material nature, wandering here and there, always and everywhere. He is subjected to the results of his past deeds. This is carried out by the laws of nature, but one foolishly thinks himself the doer, which in fact he is not. To get free from the karma chakra, the wheel of the results of one's karma, one should take to the bhakti marga, devotional service or Krishna consciousness. That is the only remedy. Sarvadharman parityajya mamikam sharanam vrajaha. Deluded by ignorance, the living entity wanders in the forest of this material world, enjoying the happiness and distress resulting from his past deeds everywhere and at all times. Therefore, my dear mother, neither you nor I am to be blamed for this incident. This section is a very beautiful and instructive example of the behavior of a Vaishnava, a devotee of the Supreme Lord. Never retaliates to any situation which may befall. Here, Maharaj Chitraketu is cursed to become a demon. While on one side, he has a demigod body as a ruler of the Vidyadhara planets. And all of a sudden, he gets a curse to get a demoniac body, which as a subset includes that he will use his sovereignty over the Vidyadhara planets and his Vidyadhara opulence. But interestingly, Chitraketu Maharaj is not disturbed. And in this series of verses, Chitraketu Maharaj is explaining, he's sharing his heart by which we can get to understand why he is not disturbed. Or how is it that he is made himself unaffected from this external, very tribulating situation. So Chitraketu Maharaj is able to humbly and gratefully accept his mistake and take responsibility of correcting himself, and he is embracing the punishment which is given to him as a means of purifying his own existence and his folly, so that his heart can be riveted, absorbed in remembrance of the lotus feet of the Lord. From this we can understand that Krishna consciousness can be executed in any material situation. In fact, the Krishna consciousness can actually be executed from any material situation. In fact, we can see that the dissensions they exist on the material plane, not on the spiritual plane. So the competition, the exploitation is on the material scale. Like say if one has money, then there are so many people who want to take that money and they want to entice the person, they want to so that he can release his money. But if a person doesn't have any commodity itself, any money or any material asset commodity, then there is nothing which the materialistic people might get interested in. So the dissensions always take place on the material scale. Not on the spiritual scale. So therefore, if the consciousness is fixed, if one's consciousness is fixed, that no matter whatever situation, if one's consciousness is fixed that I want to serve Krishna, whatever situation is brought about, if that is the consciousness, then the details of the situation do not matter. For example, does it matter in which part of the world we are born? If the goal is to serve Krishna, to please Srila Prabhupada, if one is belonging to whichever part of the world, it does not matter. One can preach anywhere. Because everywhere there is a need of Krishna consciousness. It does not matter if we are rich or poor. If it does not matter whether we are rich or poor, if the goal is to serve Krishna, then it doesn't matter. So if one is rich, one can utilize his wealth in service of Krishna. If one is poor, then one can serve Krishna kaya, manasa, vacha, by one's body, by one's mind, by one's words. So it does not matter. Troublesome situation comes, problems come when one doesn't want to serve Krishna. Then a particular situation may be very pinching, and the situation may be very cozy. Now, cozy means or comfortable means intoxicating. And yeah. But if all one wants to do is to serve Krishna, then it really doesn't matter. Prahlad Maharaj was born among the demons. So he preached to the demons and made so many of them devotees. Chitraketu Maharaj in due course also, when he will become a demon, he is also going to preach to his demoniac soldiers. Not only his demoniac soldiers, Chitraketu Maharaj is going to preach to the demigods, Maharaj Indra, and give them very nice training instructions. So if it is service is the goal, then the material situation does not matter. And therefore, there is no much point in trying to much endeavor to change one's material situation. The focus should be on service. And if Krishna so desires to change the situation, we can continue serving. So this understanding is very important. A devotee of the Lord, wherever the devotee is placed, the devotee wants to offer service. The devotee wants to go on serving, glorifying Krishna. So that is the point. Maharaj Jadbharat purposefully chose to keep a very downtrodden material profile. He was behaving as if he is dumb and deaf. And he's crazy. Basically dumb and deaf. Crazy in the sense that he was not moving according to the tunes of this material world. That's the point. So rather we have to see that, but in the heart of his heart, he was remembering Krishna. The heart of his heart. And that is invisible also, and that is unknown to people, and rather people are not bothered also. That is the point. So this goes to show that these material situations are all artificial. And if we try to fit and make space in these artificial situations, then that can potentially entangle us tremendously. If it is the very basic needs of the body, then one doesn't have to do anything materially. Because if one serves Krishna, uh, now Krishna will supply the basic needs. So one doesn't have to think materially at all. If there is a need, if all one wants is basic sustenance, because Krishna is 100% going to supply that. If one is serving Krishna heartfully. Mrigari was the proof. Now Mrigari was very much tensed up that how will I maintain my family if I can leave the sinful profession which I have? How will I maintain my family? Admuni said, you serve Krishna very nicely, heartfully, everything will be supplied, don't worry. Seeing the transformation of his heart, the villagers were happily supplying him. So the point is, we need to be responsible towards our spiritual duty. And that is most important. Here, Chitraketu Maharaj is taking responsibility of his spiritual duty. He is able to see that there has been a discrepancy in his heart because of which he committed a mistake. There had been some anartha in his heart. He was able to see that there had been some anartha in his heart because of which he took the audacity to insult Lord Shiva. So having recognized this, he took responsibility of purifying his heart. And therefore, he accepted what Mother Parvati was saying. That, okay, my dear mother, you have given me this punishment, let me go through it. So he accepted. So basically, he got awakened towards his spiritual responsibility. And he did not care for his material situation. Because his spiritual responsibility is most important. Had he cared for his material situation in trying to do firefighting, to fight, to adjust so that he can hold on to his material situation, he would not have gone back to Godhead. Because he let go of the unnecessary grabbing on to the material situation, and he took responsibility and he got awakened on the spiritual platform. Chitraketu Maharaj in his next life, he could make his journey back to Godhead as Maharaj Vitrasura. So, rather we can see that when one tries to artificially and extraneously change one's material situation, then one is inviting or one stands great risk to get more and more entangled. That is the point. Say, for example, if one is, say, if one by the arrangement of karma, if one doesn't have much riches, now one is artificially trying to extraneously do hard work and stretch oneself so that one can get some riches. Such a person is entangling himself more. Riches is not a prerequisite for Krishna Bhakti. We have some of the greatest scholars in our movement. And They never got any formal degrees. Like say for example, no, one of our stalwart scholars of the entire ISKCON is Jayadvaita Maharaj. Maharaj is a college dropout. But his intelligence, his scholarship, his depth of absorption, and his assimilation power of the Shastras, and the way he can present it so succinctly and penetrate everybody's heart is phenomenal. So the point is, the focus has to be service to Krishna. When we try to change situations, we stand to waste a lot of time, and we stand to and we stand to uh, we stand uh, to get entangled. When COVID times came, we saw that most of the temples in the world, the preaching got increased. How is it possible? Physically, they are not able to go anywhere. So the point is that the mission and service is not dependent on the external situations. And if you focus on the mission, the point is that the material situation does not matter. That is why Prabhupada is quoting 327, Prakriti Kriyamanani. Because when one thinks out of ahankar, one thinks himself the doer, then one tries to move from one material situation to another material situation. And this kind of artificial extraneous motion from one material situation to another material situation is the pathway of entanglement. Why? Because whatever material situation the Lord had given was good enough to practice bhakti. Now one wants to change the material situation. It is not going to lead to enhancement of practice. Rather, it's going to lead to more entanglement, because one is sapping one's human energy simply towards exchanging the flickering, fleeting material situations. That is the point. Karta ham iti manyati. It's a false ego that I want to create a situation what I like. But we may like a situation, and because one is draining one's human energy towards changing the situation, a lot of attachment is going to take place, and a lot of material desires may brim up. We stand a great risk that too much exposure of material desires can happen. And therefore, what is important is to be awakened towards our spiritual duty. Sometimes material situations will be favorable, sometimes it won't be favorable. But what is most important is to stick to our spiritual duty. And this is what Srila Prabhupada emphasized to all his disciples. For some of the disciples, they were in a situation where preaching was easy and working out. For some, they were in a situation where, because the country, the people around, the practice and preaching was very difficult. But Srila Prabhupada always encouraged everyone to continue the service. Srila Prabhupada encouraged everyone to continue the service and to worry about the service, not worry about material situations. Because the ahankar vimodatma karta hamiti manyate. So a devotee is not afraid or fearful when one's anartha is exposed. Here you see Chitraketu Maharaj, his anartha got exposed. Chitraketu Maharaj is taking it positively. Oh, my Lord has exposed my anartha also, and through Mother Parvati, he is arranging a situation in which I can get cure for that anartha also. So it's a welcome sign. He is welcoming it. He's saying so wonderful. So devotee is not fearful. And he's saying, oh, the Lord has brought out this point, and I zoomed at this aspect of anartha in my heart. So let me overcome it. And now here the Lord is giving help to overcome it. Like say sometimes in the preaching mission, a devotee may be say insulted or criticized. Now if you take it as an insult or criticism, then one may feel very much put down, or one may feel no, like retaliating back or striking back, or one may lose the enthusiasm for service. One may say, oh, it is always but the point is one can take it up in a positive way also. How to take it up in a positive way? Mother Suniti is showing. So you see, Suruchi is insulting Dhruva, and Mother Suruchi is saying, Dhruva, you better go and worship Lord Vishnu and ask for benediction to the next life to be born from my womb. So very, very heavy insult. But when Mother Suniti heard all this, she is not worried, okay, why my boy was insulted. She's saying that, okay, Suruchi has insulted you, but the point what she's saying is go to Vishnu and worship Lord Vishnu. That seems to be a good point. Take it up. So you see, so Mother Suniti, from an insult, she is catching a right point. From an insult, she is catching the right point. So devotee is not worried. Anything and everything can make one grow. But to ensure that growth, all what is required is to be fully focused on the service of the spiritual master. When that is the case, then no material situation can be an impediment. So let's stop here for today. Do we have any questions? Yes, Prabhu. Haribol.
पार्वती को देख के हंसते हैं तो माता पार्वती जब उनको प्रश्न करती है वो knowingly करती है कि अनकnowingly करती है क्योंकि
Srila Prabhupada explains in the purport that Chitraketu Maharaj was at fault because he took Lord Shiva too cheaply. So he had a tinge of false pride in him. And Chitraketu Maharaj himself, yes, he had a tinge of false. Yeah, so he was a very great devotee, but he was a little proud of his being great devotee. So because of which he took the Lord Shiva a little disrespectfully or cheaply, which is what Mother Parvati could not tolerate. Now, Mother Parvati explains, it comes in the conversation, Mother Parvati is saying that, uh, uh, that, oh son, this punishment will purify you. She's saying like that. So Prabhupada is explaining there that Mother Parvati is acting as a mother. Just like when a child does something nonsense, the mother becomes very agitated immediately. And she goes and slaps the child and punishes him so that he can get rectified. She wants to see him do the right things. This was the same spirit Mother Parvati had. It's not that Mother Parvati was having a hate story, envy, revenge, or something like that. But her motive was to purify. And that is why Chitraketu Maharaj also accepted in that spirit. That okay, my mother is giving me something and it will purify me. No problem. So he also took it in that. And that is the exact reason why Lord Shiva got very pleased with this attitude of Chitraketu Maharaj. So this is where we have to understand the whole episode, or this is how we can understand the whole episode. Prabhupada explains that in the purports. So that is why this understanding is very important. That therefore we don't see the inflictor of pain in our lives as the whole and soul cause. We see the inflictor of pain or suffering in our lives as an instrument of Krishna. And therefore one will not be lost. So here Chitraketu Maharaj very grateful to Mother Parvati. He is saying, Mother, you are not to be blamed. Because I am actually getting what is due in my karma. So I am actually getting what my karma is. So you are not to be blamed at all. This is the point. Okay, so let's stop here for today. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Like, okay, we should try to focus on our spiritual duty, but like we should change our material situation if it is unfavorable for birth. So like sometimes we are too much involved in the life of passion, shock to the world. That time we have to take the person who played the role of Tukaram Maharaj in the movie Tukaram. He became so absorbed while playing the role and thought, why to waste my life in the fake wood, Bollywood? I should.
Yeah, so in our case, uh, we have already entangled ourselves so much extra. Krishna has not told us. So we can give that up. We can give that up. That is the point. So, therefore, a devotee does something material, very minimal, and sees if Krishna supplies, whatever he supplies can be used in service of the Lord. One thing is, our food and clothing, shelter will not be a problem if we are focused on the mission. Krishna will supply. That is Krishna's guarantee. Then there is no problem which one has. All this ambition problem, job problem, family problem, wife problem, children problem, their settlement problem, everything is illusion. Because and everything is going to entangle a person. So therefore, a devotee tries little bit. One has to awaken to the spiritual responsibility that my prime responsibility is job or no job, ambition no ambition, family no family, marriage no marriage, children no children. No, Krishna's service is the priority.
Vinod Thakur, though but he was not neglecting his spiritual duty, though he was having a family, though he was having a job. Sometimes people say, if they are too much involved in their professional life, they say, oh, don't try to change the situation, just think about Krishna. Or if I'm working 16 hours, even not getting time to take meals, how can I think of Krishna?
No, this is the case
So
of a person.
karma yoga.
This is the case of a person who has already entangled himself. He has to give up sarva dharman parityajya, give up his profession. He has to give up and increase time for Krishna. Give up that ambition, give up that greed, give up that lust.
Yeah, he is to
Kartaham, ahankara vimudatma kartaham iti manyate. One has to give that up and create more and more time for Krishna. That is the point.
Give up the passionate spirit and tune in so that we have. Like people foolishly say, work is worship, that we don't have time to chant, we don't have time to read here, to associate with devotees. Even once or twice in a year when the
No, that is the
festivals come,
exact
they
point.
say we are busy making money, we don't have time, we don't get leave. This is hell.
Yeah, so such kind of money is entanglement. One has to give that up. That's why the Lord is telling Sarvadharman Parityajya. That all these so-called notions, thinking that I am karta and I am doer, and this is all this has led to the entanglement. One should give it up.
And people wrongly quote that
Sustenance is not a problem. Why do we have to run after money? That is the whole point. The material world has an artificial cage. The material world is showing, okay, you want money, 20 lakh package, give me 14 hours of your life every day. People are slave. They become slave. Why? Because they are going for kartaham iti manyate, artificial. Now one is, okay, I don't want 20 lakhs. So then one can be liberated. One can be liberated. So people, the nature of this material world is that the material world is going to sap away one's full energy. So if one doesn't accept, one says, okay, I don't need material because my the food which I am going to eat is not decided by the MNC companies. It is ultimately decided by Narayana. If I simply sit at any geographical location of the globe and sit down and chant the food which I want, the clothing which I want, and the shelter which I need, Krishna is going to supply that. That is guaranteed. It can be any geographical location in the world. One doesn't have to run behind MNC companies. One doesn't have to run behind so-called these social norms. That is the point.
So means
Any geographical location, one can sit down and start chanting, and what one needs will be supplied. Guarantee. Proper disciples went to any geographical location, single man, single lady, or a couple, and they were able to open temples. Sustenance is a very small thing. People don't work hard for sustenance. Sustenance doesn't require much hard work. People work hard for lust and greed. And that is what is entanglement all about. So one needs can be very easily furnished. So need can be easily furnished. For need, one doesn't need to do anything material. One can just serve, that's all. So that is why kamasya hi indriya priti labho jivata yavata. Jivasya tattva jigyasa. That materially one can work whatever basic minimum is needed to keep the body and soul together. But all the major portion of one's energy one should direct towards serving Krishna. That's the point.
If any material situation is blocking us for that, like means people are in situations where they are forced and tortured, they are not able to chant, don't well, that suffocating situation in the name of social norms, we should keep ourselves there, or we should come out of it and be in devotee association where we can chant, chant, serve. Because sometimes people are in a very bad situation. They say, "Oh, you just don't try to change the situation. Just try to change the mindset." But the whole setup is unfavorable for practicing bhakti. So when we are not Prahlad Maharaj, we are not Mother Draupadi, then why we should keep ourselves among the demons and better we should in the devotee association.
No, the Lord is telling that the devotee association is the only situation, and somebody has gone into some wrong situation already, one has to come out. Every other situation is a entangling situation. So we continue our practice. People who are thinking that I will squeeze out sense enjoyment from this person, and they see that okay, this person is not at all able to supply sense gravity, they will themselves dump. They'll themselves dump and move like that. We have to continue our Krishna consciousness like that. Dissensions happen only on the material scale. When people think that this fellow can supply sense gratification, then they will exploit, they will come, then there are all these, and they see that okay, this person is not at all in a position to supply any kind of sense gratification. Finish. So let them reject, no problem. We have shelter of Krishna, that is good enough for us. Other than the Purush telling, let people criticize, let people reject, I have no problem because my mind has got hooked to the lotus feet of Krishna.
My mind?
My mind has got hooked to the lotus feet of Krishna. Let people criticize, let people spit, let people kick, let people do anything what they want. I don't care. I am going to continue my Krishna consciousness, come what may. Job no job, wife no wife, husband no husband, father no father, mother no mother, doesn't matter. That's the point.